All right. Good morning, good morning, world, and welcome to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. I am excited. I'm super ecstatic because I'm back. Man, fellas, I watched y'all last weekend, and I was just sitting there, like having my opinion, like, damn, like what I would have said if I would have got asked this, what I would have said if I would have got asked that. You know what I'm saying? Like who I would have picked for the series, etc. And so I'm back, and so we back as a family, everyone. And so thank you all for tuning in with us at the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Yes, well, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left some, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back. For the world is a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. So we thank you all for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Instagram at the Early Morning Sports Talk Pod, POD. Again, on Instagram at the Early Morning Sports Talk Pod, POD. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, Ian Jones, as well as our guest for this morning, Johnathan Abernathy. Today is April 22nd of 2023, and we have seen yet another fascinating week in the sports world. But we have been seeing the NBA playoffs take place, and a lot of injuries. Let's say a lot of teams chirping, a lot of players chirping back and forth. We have seen stompings on the floor. We have seen very questionable and terrible referee calls and failed opportunities from teams that should be beating teams. But then again, these teams been inconsistent all year, y'all. So you expect inconsistency. But then again, you don't expect inconsistency. So we'll see what happens with some of these teams. And so, of course, with this NBA playoff show, there has been a lot of drama. But we on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast going to break it down. And so with that being said, introducing our guest for this morning, our brother, Mr. Johnathan Abernathy, who joins us this morning, not for the first time on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, not his second, not his third. And so welcome our brother, Johnathan Abernathy, back to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Good morning, my brother, and welcome back. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, and I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Yes,
how's everybody else doing?
Brother.
Pretty good.
No complaints from me. No complaints from me. I'm just glad to be back with you, fellas. And so additionally, introducing my brother for another mother and one of my partners on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Man, I'm excited to get into these topics today. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Well,
no complaints, yeah, man. Additionally, introducing our partner here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast and our other brother from another mother, Mr. Ian Jones, aka Peoples Hernandez, aka Rod Tidwell. Mr. Ian Jones, my bro, what it do?
Hey, how y'all doing, man? It's gonna be an eventful morning with these topics.
Hell yeah, it is. Absolutely. So with that being said, good morning to our 7 viewers. Good morning. Please, y'all, don't forget to hit that like button and participate with us on the conversation. And so with that being said, let's get right into it. But first, fellas, before we get to the NBA playoffs, we Bears fans here. And so we got to cover the 2023 NFL draft. And so, yes, sir. And so with that being said, Jamar, Ian, you follow up as well as you, Johnathan. And so just curious, we got the draft coming up this weekend. We did a lot in the offseason in regards to making our team better. We still have money that's on the table that can be used. And so just curious, Jamar, we got needs, okay? So with these needs, we got offensive line needs, we got defensive line needs, we got a few needs on our team that needs to be strengthened up to protect Justin Fields. And so just curious, what do you think the Bears should do, and what do you think they are planning to do come this Thursday or this weekend?
Okay, so I mean, first thing you did say, our Bears have a lot of needs. I mean, granted, they was very active. I felt like they did well in free agency, but as we know, if you really think about it, this here is more of like a 2-year project for us to actually be really in contention. This is just to get the foundation together.
Mhm.
So with that being said, it all depends what happens between probably the first 7 picks. I know we got pick 9, but it depends what happens through the first 7 picks.
Mhm.
So my thing is, if Jalen Carter is there at 9, you go get him. Like, I get
I
it.
thought I was the
Like,
only one, bro.
Oh, no. Don't make no mistake about it. Like, he is arguably the best football player in this draft. Yes, he had a bad pro day and everything else, but I feel like that was more so stress related from the whole, the whole situation with the accidents and the racing and all that, blah, blah, blah. That's how I feel. Because, I mean, if you got all that on your mind, I mean, you're just not going to perform well. When you too stressed out, your ability is not there. You're not focused. But so I feel like if he's there, you take him. Now, if he gets picked by Seattle or Detroit or whomever, then at that point, I feel like you need to trade the pick. You need to trade down a little bit. Because at that, like we said, they have a lot of needs. So at that point, I'm thinking they should probably trade down to whoever's at 15 or, the Steelers rumor 17 and 32 right there. Whomever, just trade down a little bit, grab some more draft capital, and then get you one of those 4 offensive tackles that I keep hearing about. The guys from either Ohio State, Northwestern, Georgia, and Tennessee, I believe. Those are like the main 4 offensive tackles that's there. That should be there within those picks. I mean, all in all, man, it is a lot of needs between the offensive line, defensive line. You can't have too many corners or defensive backs. I would love to have another one of those. I would love to have, eventually another wide receiver to add to the core. And just add more depth, more. But at this point, you want the best player available. That'll be Jalen Carter. If he's not there, then reposition yourself to, add more to our play to build the foundation going forward. So there's a lot of different ways that they can mix and match here. I mean, it all started with them trading the number 1 pick to get all these assets to begin with. So just continue to build on that foundation. We know Poles has a plan. He's sticking to it. He's not, going over the top to do anything unnecessary. He's not Ryan Pace by any means. They're just throwing Band-Aids on things that needs to be fixed. He's actually taking the time to fix it. So yeah, it just all depends what happens at the beginning of the draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you, bro. Ian, just a quick question, bro. So let's just say, for instance, and we all watch sports. We know about this kid in Alabama, Ian. He a defensive lineman. He been one of the top, a defensive lineman in college football. His name is Will Anderson. And so let's say, for instance, if he's on the board, if he's on the board or Jalen Carter's on the board, who do you pick?
Between the two?
Between the two.
I would say Will Anderson. I would take Will Anderson.
Okay.
I don't think Will Anderson is going to be on the board by that time. At 9, I highly doubt it.
Too good.
He'll probably be gone within the first 5 picks. I'll be shocked if he's dropped all the way to 9. If he drops all the way to 9, then we should take him. Jalen Carter, we should take him. But I truly believe that they might trade back and get more picks and, probably take an O-lineman or, another receiver, or not even a receiver, a corner. We can use some more DB help. And we need help on the O-line too. I think eventually that's what he's gonna do. I think he's gonna trade back and you're gonna see him pick up O-lineman. Like Jamar stated, he's not doing things that's necessarily popular or getting the most popular player. He's doing things that fits our needs and fits what he's trying to do. So I can respect that. As long as it translates into wins, I'm all behind it.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yep. And so, Johnathan, you're not necessarily a Bears fan.
He's not
You're
at all.
more so an Indianapolis Colts fan, right? Or you're a Broncos fan.
No, I'm a Colts fan.
Right, you're a Colts fan. And so let me ask you about your coach. Because we appeal to our guests. And so from the looks of things, you guys got a variety of needs, very similar to us. And so for the Indianapolis coach, you just hired your head coach, right? So you got the head coach. And so Jeff Saturday might be going back to ESPN. Okay. And additionally, right? Additionally, you still got a core with a great running back. You still got a great linebacker. Still got a few pieces there, a great defensive tackle. So what do you think the coach should do come draft time for your team?
Well, we all know that they have to go after a quarterback. They have to go after a young quarterback. But knowing the Colts, they are most likely to pick Stetson Bennett. Which no,
dirt.
No, that's the reality of it, because right now the Colts, just the way their history is, they would rather have somebody for 10 years that has a proven history of winning rather than a once in a lifetime type quarterback. And they've been known to make some foolish picks. So honestly, I think that's who they go after, which is going to be kind of frustrating. But I mean, they're looking for a guy that wants to come in and they already know how to win, which there's several other quarterbacks in the draft that can do that. But they look for a specific type of gameplay and a style of play. So knowing them and knowing Polian, it's going to be Bennett.
I'm hearing Will Levis to the Colts because I guess big arm from Kentucky, not too far away. Yeah. Big stature quarterback, just fits the mold as well. If you all drafted Will Levis, how would you feel about that?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I'd prefer him because he's younger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
We got more time to develop him and less time to see the mustache.
I think you guys are going to take Anthony Richardson.
Ooh. Anthony Richardson.
How would you feel about that?
It wouldn't surprise me if they just traded the picks away and just went and tried to get another backup quarterback from somewhere as their starter.
I mean, you had the Phillip Rivers project, the Carson Wentz project, that Ryan project. I mean,
the Nick Foles project too, right?
Yeah, that too.
Now we got Brissett. Now we got the mustache project.
Hey.
Oh yeah. I mean,
we got Gardner.
Right, you got Gardner from Jack.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
The Colts, this is what they do, man. They pick up quarterbacks that are washed up and they say, hey, come lead us to the Super Bowl, man. Like I really was like, wow, you guys picked up Matt Ryan and y'all really got big expectations.
I thought that would have been
we got Matty Ice and it turned out to be Matty Melted.
Like for real, and this was Matt Ryan 10 years ago. Then different story. But jeez,
man. But it's just like with the Colts in a way. You guys kind of have had since Peyton Manning bad luck at quarterbacks because and it just all started, man, with Andrew. Like Andrew was great. Like he was fantastic. Everybody knew this. Like it was probably maybe only a matter of time for you guys probably got to the big game again. We could have won it with him. But he just out of nowhere, like, I'm out the door. Like, that could hurt
injury after injury. And, on top of that, bringing up Andrew is just simply, I respect his decision simply because, he chose his life over the game. Yeah. And not too many people do it at the right time. And he knew it was his time to get out. Granted, it could have been before we signed him to that big contract, but, that's our luck. That's our history. Yeah. So to say.
And you said, right timing. Yeah, it was the right timing, all right. In the halftime of the preseason game against the Bears. I remember that. That was right time. That was a great time.
I'm never going to forget, though, 29-17.
Oh, my goodness. Oh yeah, he's talking about the Super Bowl. That's 2007. That's old. We're talking about recent, man. We're talking about
2000.
recent stuff.
Hey, 2007 is more recent than 1985. All right, so I'll take it.
Oh wow! All right, you take everybody. This guy right here staying out of our beds, and now he's starting to piss me off because
I mean, to be fair, you kind of walked into that one. That's why I didn't say nothing.
Like, yeah. You all right, man. 2007 is more recent than 1985, but this is why it's important we make our draft pick so we can get back, okay? And the way it's looking, man, we might be back before your close.
Hey, no, but I will give you guys props because you're having a hell of an off season. Like your guys' off season is looking like the Cubs' off season this year, and it's looking phenomenal for you guys.
I'll take whatever small victories we can get.
From a cold for sure.
Let me ask y'all this real quick. I know this wasn't on the script, but just more so because there's 4 quarterbacks, right? That's prominent. That's looking like going to be top 10 guys. I mean, Prescott JV says Will Levis drinks mayonnaise. That man fears nothing. Maybe so, but between C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, I guess, how would you rank them if you was a GM? Like, if you had the number 1 pick, like, how would you rank these quarterbacks? I'm just curious between y'all.
Although I'm an Ohio State fan, I got Bryce first. I got Bryce 1, DJ 2. I don't know. It's a toss-up between 3 and 4. I'll just say Anthony Richardson 3 and Will Levis 4.
Yeah, for me, I'm a little flip with you, and I think CJ Stroud is the most talented. This dude puts up numbers. So I got CJ Stroud as number 1. Number 2 behind him, Bryce Young, because Bryce Young this year, I felt like he could have showed out more in big games than he didn't. But with CJ Stroud, I didn't get a dull one from that man at all this year. So I got CJ 1, Bryce 2. Anthony Richardson has had a lot of great moments. He can ball. And then Will Levis. But Will Levis might turn out to be the best, bro.
I'm thinking Will Levis might turn into another Jamarcus Russell. So he's definitely the number 4. Honestly, I'm going Bryce is my number 1. And I say that because his what's the word I'm looking for? His basically coaching strategy that he was put into. I mean, he can go in. I see him being another Jalen Hurts. And with the right organization, he's going to go far.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and then CJ number 2 and Richardson number 3.
Yeah. My biggest concern, though, with Bryce is this. I don't know why, Jamar, but he reminds me so much of Tua. Short. I feel like if he get hit a lot, which is going to happen in the NFL, I just hope and his injury proneness already, that really, really worries me. I just hope that once he gets to the pros, he is in the right organization, Johnathan. That's vitally important. He has to be in the right organization because if he is not, he's thrown to the wolves. That's going to be tough taking all them hits. And he's not already the biggest guy in the world either. And so Will Levis can take some hits because he's a big guy. Bryce Young, I don't know.
I haven't seen him really take big hits. He's pretty crafty. He knows when to get down or get out of bounds, or he's pretty smart with his body. I mean, of course, he's going to take a hit here or there. I mean, that's just a part of the game. But I haven't really seen him take too many like big hits. I think why I like Bryce Young so much, and I watched this tape maybe before he even started at Alabama a couple years ago. He was in high school. He almost plays quarterback like Jason Kidd would play point guard. Like I said, if he plays anything like that, I said the whole country is in trouble, man. Well, a couple years later, he wins the Heisman. Yeah, he got a national championship, but he didn't win it as a starting quarterback due to injuries. I mean, if Jameson Williams don't injured, but 2 years ago, they went. But I think he's gonna be nice. Of course, you do have concerns about his size. I mean, he's probably my height and probably my weight. I'm 6 feet, 195. We probably the same size. So I mean, of course, you think about that with him being a quarterback at the next level. But I mean, I feel like he's a special kid. I feel like he'll get the job done for sure.
To add on to that, like who he reminds me of, you remember how Marvin Harrison used to be able to get down and everything. He's the quarterback, the Marvin Harrison quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
He knows when to go for explosive plays. He knows when to just call it and just get on to the next play.
So that's self-awareness.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like each one of these quarterbacks can thrive in the right situation, the right team, the right organization, that matters. I feel like that's been an overlooked thing for so long, but it matters. Like, for instance, do you think Josh Allen would be Josh Allen if he wasn't in Buffalo? Like, I don't think so.
No.
You think Patrick Mahomes would be Patrick Mahomes had he got drafted by Chicago instead of Kansas City?
Right.
I mean, like, everything matters. It does. Situation matters. Your organization that believes in you matters. Like the resources matter. Everything matters. So each one of these quarterbacks, they have their weaknesses, but they also have their strengths and high ceilings. So it just depends where they land and if these teams will actually do right by them and give them the time to develop. So that's how I feel about it. All of them could be outstanding.
I mean, heck, look at the Justin Fields situation. Don't get me wrong. I think Justin Fields is an explosive player, but he's just got the wrong management. It's not even about the line right now. It's just the offensive coordinator not letting him be him.
Yeah. In a way, I can see that. So hopefully, I mean, it got better last year. 2 years ago, we were screaming that for sure in the early morning.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago was about as ugly as it gets. That's what you call wrong situation, just all the way around. That was just bad.
Right.
And yeah, it's not
last.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it got better.
Right. It wasn't perfect, like for instance, during that Redskins game. Remember, Jamar? The game we should have won, and Justin was just like seemed like he was a quarterback that was being controlled by someone. We like, Justin, just play. The damn Redskins.
Oh, and you saw the reaction after the game. At that point, that's when he turned the corner. After that game, because I think the next game we played New England, it turned the corner.
Next Monday
he just had enough.
Was that the Taylor Heineke game?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was Taylor. No, Carson, right? It was Carson that played that game, right?
Yeah, Carson played that game.
Carson played that game.
Yeah, he did.
It was a really bad football game. It was a really bad football game. And so the Bears they lost that one, and like you say, Jamar, it was a turning corner for sure. I could see that. And so fellas, that covers the Bears NFL draft needs. And so additionally, fellas, do you think with the draft that any, let's say, big activity would take place? Like Jamar, we know you all on top of this stuff. Is there any expectations possibly that Aaron Rodgers or like some other big names might be on the move come Thursday night?
Yeah. I would imagine the deal with Aaron Rodgers gets done before the draft. I mean, draft capital is, a major contributor in this trade. So I would imagine that deal gets done one way or another. I mean, he basically said Jets or nothing. So just be on the lookout for that. I think DeAndre Hopkins probably gets moved during the draft.
Right.
That's definitely a name to look out for. I think those are the two big ones, and I'm pretty sure you're probably going to see another one out there as well. I can't think of it right now, but between Hopkins and Rodgers, those are probably the two that you'll see happen.
Right. Word. Yeah. Yep. Thanks for that, Jamar. And so, fellas, let's now progress to the NBA playoffs. And so, Ian, we'll start with you, Johnathan, then Jamar. But then after that, we'll go back to you, Jamar. And so, Ian, bro, NBA playoffs have started. And thus far, Anthony Walsh, good morning. He stated, I wouldn't give up a pack of chewing gum for Rodgers. Really? Okay. And so, yeah. Okay.
Not even the zebra chewing gum.
Okay. Yeah, Anthony Walsh is excited this morning. Okay. And so, yes, with that being said, let's get to the NBA playoffs. And so just curious, bro. We have seen very, very terrible officiating. So we saw, for instance, let's just take the Philly and Brooklyn game. We got other moments too. But when in this Philly Brooklyn game, our pick for NBA MVP, and we'll get your MVP pick shortly, Johnathan. He basically, you could say, kicked Claxton, in the groin area, and he received the flagrant one. Yet James Harden basically did a move that he's done his whole career. And basically the referees ejected him for a flagrant 2. That's just a prime example of how officiating has been going this playoffs. What is the NBA trying to prove, fellas? Like, with this type of officiating, because it seems to be like unorthodox now. It seems like very cutthroat, like I don't know. And so, but on the other hand, they seem like they're letting people play. And so, like in Golden State, that's been a rough series. They have been very physical, which is part of the reason why Draymond did what he did in regards to stomping on Devontae Sabonis, and he only get like suspended for 1 game, and what he did was pretty egregious. But then again, there's some people that don't believe he should have been suspended at all. And so the officiating's kind of been different in different series, but for the most part, it's been pretty bad overall. Just what's your thoughts, man, on this officiating, and like, what are the referees and the NBA trying to prove with this type of officiating in the playoffs?
The NBA is, they're trying to keep it clean, but at the same time, I know they want the players to, play a hard fought game, but at the same time keep it clean. But I'll say this: so in Draymond's situation, do I think he should have got suspended for that? No, but Draymond has a history, of doing things like this all the time. So
Right.
I feel like that's part of the reason that he got suspended. Also, Draymond's antics, like during the time that they're reviewing the play and see if he's going to get a flagrant 2 or see if he's going to get ejected. He has to interact with the crowd. He has to just rile the crowd, especially if they're on the road. And you can't, after a play like that, you can't do that while Adam Silver is in the building in row 3. You can't do that. It's not a good look. And my question would be to him: why do you have to do that, bro? They're gonna throw you out. You have a history of doing things like this. We've seen it in 2016. He kicked about 3 or 4 people in the groin up into the finals, and then when they suspend him, everybody want to look crazy. He's been doing it all year. Like, we ain't gonna get enough, bro. And I feel like that hurts the Warriors at times, because in their time of need, when they need him, he's a big part of their team. You got him doing, stupid stuff like that, and then you hear that, he says he's learned his lesson, but obviously you haven't learned your lesson.
Right.
Why do you have to?
He said he learned his lesson.
He said that before, but why do you have to rile the crowd up, bro? That's not doing nothing, bro. Yeah, I get it. You want to be the villain and take on that type of role, but there's other ways to do that, and the NBA not having it. So do I think he should have got suspended for what he did the other night? Yeah and no, because I feel like with Draymond Green, I do feel his point. He did grab his ankle. You know what I'm saying? He did grab his ankle. So But he didn't have to stomp like that. If we all have been athletes and play sports, he didn't have to do that. If he would have failed lightly, he would have failed lightly. He wouldn't have broke nothing. Or he just would have tripped or something. He didn't have to do the extra jump and stomp on his chest. He didn't have to do that. Like, come on, bro. You athletic, bro. You didn't have to do that. But I do get his point where, he did grab, Sabonis did grab his ankle. So you could go either way with that. But he just got suspended because of his history. Now we're going to flip to James Harden and Embiid. So in James Harden defense, I'm not giving him no defense. He did that on purpose. He should have got thrown out for that. I sat there and watched him do that. He did that on purpose. He should have got thrown out. But he did it on purpose, but he tried to do it like in a slick way though. Like he had already put his arm out, but then like real quick, he gave it like an extra nudge. You know what I'm saying? So he should have got thrown out for that. And MB should have got thrown out too. Because if that was Draymond probably got suspended 2 games if he would do something like that. He blatantly tried to kick him in the groin. Like it wasn't like he didn't try to hide it or try to. No, he did that on purpose. So he probably would have got through out 2 games. So it just you're a repeat offender. It's almost like in the justice system. If you don't have any if you had no trouble with the law, they might take it slight on you the first time and. Right. If you don't, they're gonna punish you for it. It's like, oh, you got a history of doing this? Oh well, we're gonna make you learn your lesson this time. Right. And that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you feel like James and Embiid both should have got suspended?
Yeah. If we go suspend Draymond for that, then yeah, for sure. Embiid, it was blatant. Like, what he was trying to do. There's no sugarcoating that.
Right.
He might as well have been WWE.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah. Johnathan, what's your thoughts? Because I feel like the NBA, man, I feel like they did James bogus. But what's your thoughts, bro?
Well, let me start with the Draymond situation first. Well, for the Draymond situation, in all reality, had it happened in Golden State, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble. I guarantee it wouldn't have been a flagrant 2. I believe that since it happened in Sacramento, it was simply to stop another malice at the Palace. And that's the reality of it, because Sacramento the fans probably would have went nuts. And especially the way he was hyping up the crowd and trying to antagonize the crowd afterwards. Like, I think that's what that statement was. Would he have gotten a suspension for it? Possibly. But I think the flagrant 2 would have been off the table had it happened in Golden State. Right. And honestly, I believe
cooking in Golden State for sure.
Yeah, if I believe that as long as Draymond is playing this series, they are more likely to lose it.
Okay.
As for the Embiid situation, flat out, that was blatant. He should be suspended. Although he is my MVP pick, he got upset because he got dunked on.
Right.
And now he's embarrassed, and now he's trying to react. And no, you just can't do that. You gotta take your punches and roll with them, especially on a playoff situation. You can't risk that type of reaction, especially if you're the MVP of the league, let alone your team.
Right.
As for James Harden, I've always been really iffy on him. Like, I'm really biased in that sense of him. Yeah, he's done it pretty much his whole career, but now you're trying to add extra things to throw him off because now they're calling you travel for half the moves you do that you've done in your whole career. So should it result in a suspension? It's hit or miss.
Or an ejection at least, right?
An ejection I would understand. As for a suspension, no.
Okay. I feel like he shouldn't have been suspended or ejected. Jamar, your thoughts, bro?
I feel like Doc Rivers said it best. Quote, I didn't think Draymond should have been suspended. If we're going to start punishing the retaliators and not the instigators, we got a problem in this league. I look, as far as Draymond, I mean, had Sabonis not grabbed the ankle, we probably wouldn't even be having this discussion. That's how I feel. And nothing happened to Sabonis, but yeah, Draymond gets suspended. As far as Nick Claxton and Embiid. I mean, yeah, Embiid fell and he got the and one, but had Claxton not step over him, I don't know about you, but if you get stepped over, I mean, I'm not gonna take that lightly either. You know what I mean? I'm not Tyronn Lue and you're not Allen Iverson. We're not going through that. Like Tyronn Lue took it like somebody I wouldn't take it. Like I'm just saying.
Like a champ, because that's what he became.
Right.
By default.
By default. He was just on the right team.
But yeah, no, I would react some type of way. Maybe not all the way like Embiid, but I would have did something. But I'm just saying. I mean, once again, if we punishing the retaliators instead of instigators, again, it's just gonna create that whole stigma, that whole like culture thing. It's like, so I'm gonna just go out here and just instigate everything out here. I'm not gonna get punished for it. They're gonna retaliate, and I'm gonna play the victim here, and they're gonna get in trouble. So, I mean, we got to stop that. That's just what it is. I mean, case by case. Draymond, I mean, like Ian said, I mean, he has a history of it. So, and Joe Dumars, admittedly, when they interviewed him on ESPN, they took that into account, his history. So, I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is, but they need to fix that whole instigator, retaliator, like nonsense. Otherwise, you're gonna get more of this, and it's gonna come at the wrong time. I.e. Draymond Green in 2016. So therefore, yeah, like this got to stop. Like referees, players, like something got to give just overall to prevent a lot of this BS that's happening. That's how I feel.
Right. And so just in regards to, let's say, Jamar, the Joel Embiid situation. So you understand Joel Embiid's point of doing what he did to Nick Claxton.
I mean, ain't nobody about to step over me. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have went for the grown, but I probably would have tried to trip him. I definitely would.
Right. You probably wouldn't have went for the grown, but you would have did something.
I'm doing something. Nobody's stepping over me.
Push him
like
on the leg or something. Kick him in the
too
ankle.
competitive for that. Like, you just not about to disrespect me. I'm just not going.
Kick him in the ankle, make him walk a little sideways.
Something like, bro, you just not about to do that to me on national TV in a playoff game. You just not.
Oh yeah. And so I see you guys' points, fellas. We'll get other folks' points. Reggie with us, Vic with us. I think Anthony's with us, a few others. And so let's talk about the series, fellas. We got Dylan Brooks, y'all. And by the way, y'all, we just freestyling here. We chilling, y'all. We chilling this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Y'all boy Dylan Brooks from the Memphis Grizzlies. This is Ian and Jamar's boy, Dylan Brooks.
What?
He's coming in.
You got a jersey in the closet. What you talking about?
He's coming
Dylan
at
Brooks
your
Memphis jersey.
He's coming at your other boy, Ian. LeBron, calling him old, saying that he not the LeBron that used to be with Cleveland and Miami, just disrespecting LeBron. And so I'm just curious, Ian, Jamar, fellas, what's your thoughts? So Jamar, we start with you, Ian, and then Johnathan. What is your thoughts on this situation? And I don't know, is there a strategy behind Dylan Brooks' message?
Dude, I'm sick of Great Value iced tea just talking. I'm tired of it. Look, LeBron is definitely y'all boy. I'm not as big of a LeBron fan as you all. I do respect him, but this is one of those to where you just gotta like be quiet and don't say too much, because I've seen it plenty times in the past with other stars, with like players that's not on their level, run their mouth, and then you put in their place and you don't hear from them again. You just don't.
Right.
You just don't. Right. So with him, like he mentally said he wants to poke. I don't have a problem poking the bear, and yeah, LeBron's old. He's not this. But last time I checked, based on the stats, I mean, LeBron's shooting 61%, from the field against someone when he guards them, and he's just getting all sorts of buckets left and right. I mean, so it's like you just talking to be talking, bro. Like Memphis is one of those teams. Like, yes, when they're at full strength, they can be a dangerous team in the playoffs, but y'all have yet to prove anything. So why are you talking? That's like, like last week how all three of us picked the Timberwolves to win that series against the Nuggets, and yet apparently,
Y'all
Jokic.
did?
Yeah, we did.
What?
We.
I said it was going to be a sweep.
Who said it was gonna be? What?
And that's just more so we are tired of the Nuggets doing all this stuff in the regular season and don't amount to anything in the playoffs. So apparently they hurt us. They must have hurt us right now. But anyway, as far as Memphis and Dylan Brooks is concerned, like, look, like I don't have a problem just in general. You can talk the talk if you can walk the walk. Like that's just what it is. But don't come out here saying that, LeBron's old, he can't do this and that, and you barely scoring 10 points a game, and you can't even guard the man. And if for whatever reason Memphis wins the series, it's not going to be because of you. It's just not. It's going to be because Ja comes back, going to be because Jaren Jackson Jr. doing his thing, because of unsung heroes. In game 3, like in game 2, what was his name? Tillman. I don't even know the guy's
Tillman,
name.
yeah, Desmond.
Yeah,
Bain, clutch.
Yeah, like those guys was performing. Like Dylan Brooks just hit a dagger 3 when it was already up 8. Like, come on, like stop it. Like I said, LeBron's more so y'all guy, but on this, like Dylan, you just gotta shut up, dude.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. And bro, if you LeBron, what do you gotta do? What do you got to do for game 3? Like what do you got to do? Because the way he's talking, man, like we look at legends, generally legends and all-time greats respond. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm concerned about LeBron's response because that's LeBron's problem. LeBron's soft as hell. I'm just being honest. He's soft. He's soft. He's soft. He's soft. And I think part of the reason why Dylan Brooks coming at him is because he know he's soft. And he know that he gonna try to play the good guy role, etc. Woo up the band. And so, Ian, if you LeBron, what are you trying to do game 3, bro?
To say he's soft, I don't know. That's a stretch.
He's soft at times, bro, because of how he responds to stuff and because of how he just takes stuff. And I feel like in a way, a lot of people they come at LeBron, they don't even be scared of him. They scared of Kawhi. Because they know Kawhi not finna play with them. I feel like if that was Kobe, bro, he wouldn't have said that shit to Kobe. Because he know Kobe would have came at him like a dog. He knew what it would have been. I feel like with LeBron, he like, that's LeBron. Like LeBron nice. He a good steward. He a good citizen. Like LeBron gonna go the good route, And that's, I'm just, that's just how I see it. And so, yeah. I'm just curious, bro. What are your thoughts with LeBron game 3? Is LeBron like, should LeBron be like, all right, I'm going to be passive. I'm going to let my team get involved. I'm going to do that. Is LeBron going to be like, I'm going to come out, bust his ass the whole game, send a message? Am I going to get my points? Or is LeBron going to be the one that say, I'm going to get my points and get my team involved? Because I know when LeBron's greatest, he can do all of that. So, just what's your response for this situation, and what should LeBron be trying to do game 3? Because there's different tactics he can take. There's different ways or different roles he can take.
So if we've seen in the past, we've had multiple players, talk crazy to LeBron or make, slight comments and end up not being so well. Let's go back to those Warriors and Klay Thompson. Say Klay Thompson said he was crying about calls. He said something. And LeBron just simply said, I think he said in the press conference, he said, what? He said, okay. Came back from 3-1. He scored 40 in, I think, every game except game 7. And won the championship. I mean, we can even go to Lance Stevenson trying to blow in his ear doing the whole, Dylan Brooks routine, try to get up on this skin. What did they do? They end up going home. The Indiana team ain't been good since then.
The Boston days, he was with Cleveland, right? The Boston days, but he was even with Miami. Remember, Jason Terry was talking about him bad, especially after they won the 2011 finals with Dallas. He won with Dallas.
Yeah.
The next year in 2012, right, Jamar? We like, damn, okay, Miami could be eliminated again. Boston got their number. And LeBron came back and had one of the most epic game sixes and dunks.
He locked in and barely missed a shot there. So we know LeBron's not a big talker. I've seen him talk. Like the time Evan Turner tried to dunk on him, he blocked it. And he was like, "You tried it." He's like, "I did." He said, "No, but you tried it." So I mean, he's not a big talker. He's just gonna simply play his game. You might get a couple words out of him here and there, but he's just simply gonna play his game. That's not how you pretty much not gonna get him out his element. That's what Dylan Brooks is trying to do, trying to get him out of his element, trying to get him to play a different game. This was Russell Westbrook. He could do that easily. If this was somebody else, he could do that easily. But I mean, he's just gonna play his game. He's not gonna pay attention to Dylan Brooks. And in fact, if I'm Dylan Brooks, I kind of chill on the talking because LeBron is kind of cerebral. Like he's gonna. I feel like Dylan Brooks is gonna foul out next game. Like last game, he had 5 fouls. He almost fouled out last game because he was so busy talking. They didn't win the game because of him. They won the game because of Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Tillman off the bench. He had 20. He was like 11 for 14. And the Lakers simply came out. I feel like the Lakers came out and was like, "Oh, Ja's not playing. Well, we just gonna beat them because we the Lakers." No, y'all not, because they just play harder than them. That's the only reason why they won the game. They're just harder than the Lakers. And to be honest, I feel like the Grizzlies play better as a team without Ja Morant because they don't have to defer to Ja Morant. So they get to move the ball around. They get to shoot. They just play better without a team. You get Tyus Jones in there. He's distributing. He's dumping it to Jaren Jackson Jr. You know what I'm saying? He on the other end. He playing defense. I feel like they play better without Ja on the floor as a team. Now, with Ja on the floor, of course, they're liable to still win because it's Ja Morant. He's a great talent, but LeBron, he's just gonna play his game. He's not gonna feed into the answer. He's not gonna feed into that.
But Ian, what about fellas? What about LeBron's comments yesterday? Did y'all hear what he said yesterday?
Yeah, I say he said he don't want to talk about that. He's not interested in that. He don't want to talk about that.
Right. But he said he just ready to play. He mentioned the game.
I mean,
he said
tomorrow
night.
Don't get it twisted. Oh, it's on his mind. With great players, it's always on their mind, whether they show it or not. Oh, it's on his mind. He might not show it, but it's on his mind.
Yeah, you sound like you're ready for the night. You sound like you're ready. I'm ready too to watch it. Yeah. On the other hand, Johnathan, what's your thoughts, bro?
I got 4 words. 50-point triple-double. I believe LeBron is going to come out and destroy him specifically. Brooks he's not going to be talking after this game. I really don't think so. Every time, like they were saying, every time somebody's talked about LeBron like that, LeBron has always come back and had a major game. And I believe, is Ja playing tonight?
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything of him playing.
Depending on if Ja comes back in the series or not, series might be done just for Dylan Brooks talking. Like LeBron's going to come out and play like the LeBron we have seen over the years.
Mm-hmm.
He's questionable.
Okay. And honestly, even if Ja does play, I don't know if after Dylan Brooks talking like that, I don't know if Memphis is going to stand a chance. They may lose the next 3 games by 20 plus.
Yeah.
I think LeBron is going to come out and actually, I don't think he's going to be able to withstand it for the whole playoffs. But I think the series, he's just going to throw everything he's got into this series. like this is his championship.
Okay. Jamal, why you so quiet?
Because I mean, let's just say, for instance, like Memphis makes this a series and they extend it to 6 or 7. The Lakers do win, but like Johnathan said, like what if like LeBron poured all his energy into this series just to get past Memphis, and now what? Like, what are we doing here? Because once you go against who they get the winner of?
They get the win of the 6 seed and the 3 seed, which is the Kings and the Warriors.
Kings yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Because they both just offensive juggernauts, and they're very tough at home. And so let's talk about that Kings Warriors series, y'all. It's 2-1. Sacramento jumped on them first 2 games. Great crowd in Sacramento, by the way. But as we know, y'all, Golden State, they are virtually untouchable in Golden State. That crowd is just wild, rowdy. They feed off that energy. They are the toughest team to beat at home in the NBA. And no disrespect to Sacramento, they right there because they with it. This is a series right here, man. They didn't have Draymond, but they didn't need him. They came out, put the brakes on them as we expected them to at home. Jamar, is this series over? Because some people, I feel like they thought this was over. Is this series over with Golden State? Because I'm not sure if it is. What's your thoughts, bro?
I mean, as funny as this sounds, I think the Kings are in trouble.
Okay.
I believe that they had a golden opportunity to really, like, you know, put the hammer down against Golden State in Game 3.
Right.
Look, like, yeah, like it seemed like the Warriors, play better without Draymond based on how that game was. But I think it's just more so the fact that they're at home and, the energy of the crowd and stuff. Make no mistake about it. The advanced number says that Draymond Green, when he's playing versus when he's not playing this year, they are a better team on offense and defense. They just are.
Okay.
So they had the golden opportunity to put them up 3-0. I expect the Warriors to win Game 4. I expect the Warriors to win Game 5, and they're not losing at home. Like I feel like the Kings are in trouble, and it's not like the Kings are, they have exceeded expectations this year. Mike Brown, unanimous Coach of the Year. Kings deserve all the credit in the world, but I mean, to knock out a champion, a defending champion, a team with championship pedigree that's been there, done that before multiple times, you have to be on it. I mean,
Right.
We learned that from the Celtics last year when they had their opportunity in the finals. They had it. They had a golden opportunity, and we saw they didn't win a game since.
Right.
All I'm saying is, yep, Steph Curry happened. All I'm saying is, I would not be surprised if the Kings did not win another game in this series. I'm keeping it real.
And bro, with this series, are the Kings in trouble? Are the Kings in trouble now?
Yeah, the Kings, they should be a little worried. I mean, Golden State, they handled their business at home. It would have been a big win, for Sac to go to San Francisco and get a W. But I mean, that's tough. And they still an experienced team. They're still a champion, still the defending champions. You got to make they came and played the game. I always thought the series was going to go 6-7 anyway, so I'm pretty much not surprised. That Golden State, won Game 3. I didn't think they were going to get swept or anything like that. Sacramento they're just a tough team. They show you why. They're showing you why they're number 3 in the West. Show you why they got Coach of the Year and Mike Brown. It's a hell of a coach. Got some young talent, great crowd. Sacramento's always had a great crowd. You even go back to the days when they had their battles with, Kobe and the Lakers. They had Arco Arena. They always had a great crowd. So it's almost similar to that fact again. It's just not a rivalry, Sac is they just coming back on the scene. But it's gonna be a great series. I expect it to go 6 or 7. Now, who do I expect to win?
Right.
I feel like whoever wins this next game, I feel like will probably win the series.
Okay.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Okay. Whoever win game 4 win the series. Gotcha. Yeah, Jonathan, bro, your thoughts on this? You know, any thoughts on this, and who do you feel win this series based off of what has actually happened?
I believe I agree with Jamar. I don't think they lose a game at home. Golden State loses a game at home. And then when it comes to game 6, I mean, you've always got to be worried about game 6 Clay. Like, I mean, he may not do anything the next 2 games, but Steph will carry him. But then you got game 6 Clay coming out and dropping 30 in the third. And I mean, there's not much you can do about that. So I have Golden State winning this in 6.
Yeah, I hear y'all. Yep. So you know what? I'm with y'all. I can't count out the Giants. On the other hand, let's go with this New York series, fellas. Y'all saw what happened last night. Cleveland, they might be inexperienced, but I tell y'all what, they look very inexperienced last night in MSU. That loud, ruckus crowd in New York. They just seem like they got bullied in New York by some New York Broad Street bullies. Real talk, you know. Like, I had Cleveland going into this series. I'm just curious, fellas. Jamar, Ian, Jonathan, you guys still got Cleveland in the series after seeing what you've seen these first 2 games. Jamar.
I picked last week. I picked Knicks in 7.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
do you think it's gonna go 7 the way they beat them up in game 3?
I don't know.
They beat them up like bad.
It's like, great teams, when they get punched in the mouth, normally the next game they come back and, squeak out a win to even it back up. I know Cleveland is a very talented team by far.
Mm-hmm.
Very talented. But I don't know if they're good enough to withstand, another like another beatdown, another defensive pressure that the Knicks displayed. I mean, they didn't score 80 points. That was the lowest score
and
of the
32
season.
in the first half, bro.
Yes. Like, I'm like, are we back in the 90s with these scores? I'm sitting here like,
it's been some defense this playoff though. These teams been clamping down a little bit.
I appreciate it though. I appreciate great defense. I'm sitting here like Donovan Mitchell is known for going off of 40s and 50-point games, and yet they got 32 at halftime. Like sheesh. So I don't know if they're there yet to bounce back from this. I don't know. So it could be over in 6. It could be. Because, playing in the Garden, it's just a whole nother, playing in the Garden is by itself. That's just a whole nother, atmosphere, whole nother, situation. So I guess to come in as a visiting team, unless you got somebody Ice Tray from a couple of years ago that's going to shut down the crowd or anything like that. Donovan Mitchell, I don't know. He's a great talent, but I don't know if he's him. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out in game 4.
In game 4.
Yeah, I seen him do great things. I remember Jamal Murray and him had that phenomenal series a few years ago. I remember, Donovan Mitchell, brilliant at times offensively. I've seen it, but if you're going to be him, you got to show up in the Garden on the road and get a win. Can you do it?
Y'all hear that? Jamar Goodman on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is putting pressure on the great Donovan Mitchell, saying if you him, you need to do it on the biggest stage in Madison Square Garden, pretty much with your season on the line. Game 4 is going down. Yes. Just to address the comments, y'all. Prescott JB stated Dylan Brooks looked like he orders cheeseburgers with no cheese. On the other hand, Anthony Walsh stated over and under on the flops. So he's talking about LeBron with his flop.
Ooh-wee.
And then also he stated, I feel like the flop should have his own stat category. And so Anthony Walsh is clearly taking shots at LeBron. He even put y'all know yesterday folks on the page started putting like their greatest player all time, greatest team all time. It's like this like chat thing that's been going around on Facebook. And he put LeBron as his most overrated player of all time. And so this makes sense. This definitely makes sense. And so on the other hand, good morning, Deshaun. Good morning, my bro. He stated gentleman. And so, and bro, with this New York series, based off of what you've seen with this series thus far, is Cleveland still that team to come back and win this series based off of what you've seen thus far?
Yeah, it's possible. Like Jamal stated, got to come to play. If Donovan Mitchell is quote unquote him, he gotta make it known. And I think this would be the time for him to make that known. Taking a lot, from being in Utah and not getting it done with Rudy Gobert. They had their thing at one point, and now he's in Cleveland. They got a damn good season, but if you don't do nothing in the playoffs, as we all know, I mean, regular season stuff is cool, but it don't matter at the end of the day. What you gonna do when it's crunch time? Man? This is that time. I mean, I believe he can. It's just he got to do it. They just got to do it. They have a great team. They just got to get it done. Yeah, I know they probably a little inexperienced, but I expect him to be the leader. He's probably had enough experience on that roster, as far as I know.
Well, Danny Green.
Oh yeah, Danny Green. Yeah. I didn't. You know what? I didn't realize they had the other night, but yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get it done. I think he can, but at the end of the day, it's not about what I think. He just got to get it done.
I hear that, bro. Yes, sir. Yeah. Johnathan, based off of what you've seen thus far with this Cavaliers next series, is the Cavaliers coming back to win this series?
So I stated last week that this is going to be Donovan Mitchell's revenge series. And I still stand by that statement. I think Cleveland, after getting beat down like that last night, they're going to come back and just do them the same way, honestly. And I've got Cleveland winning in 6.
Ooh. So let me ask y'all this. Y'all sports fans and Jamar, Johnathan and yourself. Good morning, Jay. What's up? Good morning, Jay Corsi. The Garden is hard as hell to play. They are ignorant. They are some of the worst fans, but they are some of the best fans. Who knows what they're saying to Donovan Mitchell? Who knows what he's hearing? He's probably getting talked. His dog's probably getting talked about. They probably talking about the man haircut. Who knows? And so, they are very, very ratchet in New York. And so, you stating, Johnathan, that he's gonna go in the Garden and he's gonna have one of those legs because he's gonna need it. You stating that he's gonna go and have a legendary Reggie Miller type quiet in the Garden, like keeping him quiet. He gonna have that type of performance you feel in Game 4.
Yes.
All
and
right.
with that type of performance, he's going to come out. He's going to almost single-handedly. Obviously, he's not going to be able to single-handedly beat him, but he's going to almost single-handedly beat him, and that's going to have the Knicks shook.
Okay. That's real, because he gonna need it. He gonna need it because they are putting the clamps on them, man. But then again, Game 2, Cleveland put the clamps on them. And so we'll see, man. Derrick Rose got in the game last night, y'all. I got excited. I almost cried. On the other hand, let's talk about Tibbs, y'all. Question. Because Game 2, he kept his start. It literally last night, I started to question again, my bros. I'm looking at the game. It's like 3 minutes left. I'm like, when he going to take these people out? Because I'm like, he's starting to keep them in there. And I'm like, the game's kind of getting late. Like, Tibbs, don't do this again. And so in game 2, he did it. And as we see, Julius Randle went up for a dunk, got fouled, and he came down real hard. And he even went to the locker room after. Just question, fellas. If the Knicks lose this series, is Coach Tibbs getting fired? Does this series depend on the job? If Tibbs lose this series, is he getting fired, Jamal? I'm serious, bro. And you fall off as well, Johnathan. If they lose this series, is Tibbs getting fired?
Possibly, if this is gonna be the reason why. You got your starters. I mean,
he got Brunson in the game. He got Barrett in the game. He got Randall in the game. Like, he don't even got he got the starters in the game, and they getting blew out, and it's 2 minutes left.
It's tough to even think about because we know what we went through.
Right.
For the same reasons. It's tough to even talk about sometimes, but it's like the general consensus is you ain't learned anything, have you? You're like, bro, like, why? Like, he probably is. If they lose and, for stuff like this, there's a good chance. I can see it. Just lack of better words. Yeah, I can see it. I don't even want to talk about it. It pisses me off.
I'm sitting there watching the game, and literally Reggie Miller's going in. Reggie Miller, the legend. The camera's all on Derrick Rose. Oh, Derrick Rose. The camera's all on the man. And he's just talking about that series, as you remember, y'all, when Derrick Rose got hurt. And our fortunes for the Bulls pretty much changed forever. And we was up that game, and we didn't even, he should have took him out. This was against the Pacers. And so, Ian, your thoughts, bro. If the Knicks, if the Cavaliers were to come back and win in 6, like Johnathan states, is this Tibbs' last series as the coach of the New York Knicks?
It's possible. He has a history, leaving the starters in too late. They're not gonna obviously win the game. They can get a rest. I think Tibbs is, it's just one of those old school coaches that's, kind of stuck in ways and kind of got their way of doing things. And that way might not be the always right way.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's done a good job with New York. Do I think he deserves to get fired? I'm like 50-50 with it. He's done a good job with New York. I would at least give him another year with with Jalen Brunson and that crew. Maybe they add somebody else in the offseason or something like that. But I mean, the Knicks before that, they were terrible. There was no hope for them. So he got them going in the right direction. But he does have a history of doing the same thing or not getting over the hump. He didn't get over the hump in Chicago.
Right. It's not like he's getting over the hump anyway.
Yeah, he didn't get over the hump.
He hasn't made the second round since the Bulls.
And Minnesota had an awesome team. Granted, they were in the tough Western Conference, but Minnesota had an awesome young team, man. Couldn't get it done. And his chances are better in the East with New York, but they're not going to the finals. We're just going to be realistic. They're not going to the finals. So do I think he deserved to be fired? I'm 50-50 with it. He could, but I'll give him another year with at least Jalen Brunson.
If I'm Mike Dolan, I finally make a right decision because he's another person that don't make a lot of good decisions. Johnathan, your thoughts, bro?
I believe they do give him another year simply because, they were bad before he got there. They did make the playoffs this year. So I think it's more of a test trial right now. But it's Thibodeau. I always believe he deserves to be fired, but I think they give him another year. So regardless of how this series goes, whether they win it, they lose it, he'll be there for another year.
All right. If I'm Mike Dolan, I'll fire his ass because of what he did to Derrick Rose. Prescott JB stated Tibbs is the man who ruined Derrick Rose's career. So Tibbs, you got to slow down with this overworkload. Remember in Chicago, man, it was Joakim Noah now. Joakim Noah's a dog. And he was talking about how they get, it's like a slave trade. And so, like, that must mean that they was working really, 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 really hard. And this is just practice. Kind of remind me of Allen Iverson comments. We just talking about practice. And so, yeah, I think, I see you guys' points, but if the Knicks lose this series, you as the owner, you got an argument legitimately in the offseason, a real legit argument. On the other hand, fellas, let's talk about another series. Minnesota, Denver. We all can agree this series looks like it's over, right? We all got Denver, right?
Okay. Sure. After last week's debacle, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't got Minnesota no more, right, Jamar? You don't got Minnesota no more, and you don't got Minnesota no more. I don't know what the hell y'all was thinking with that one. Like, the hell made y'all pick Minnesota?
Still got Minnesota.
He going down with his sinking ship like the Titanic. I respect it. I have a child. Don't get on that boat.
You guys must have been really influenced by that play-in game. They played hard against the Lakers.
Nope. I just am really influenced by Denver, known for choking.
But
yeah, it was more so about Denver than Minnesota.
But shout out to Denver, man. Shout out to Denver. Denver looks really good. Like, finally, man, like this dude, Michael Porter Jr., looking like the guy you've always been excited about, Jamar. He's a
been waiting on him to turn the corner. That's what we were talking about last week. Like, is he gonna finally turn the corner to be that guy?
Right. And he's looking like their best player thus far this series, even better than Joker, and Joker do everything. And so, like, Michael Porter Jr. has been going off. Jamal Murray has been going off. And these have been tight games. It's not like Minnesota ain't been fighting them. Y'all know Minnesota got that fight, but like Denver, just like they more talented, more superior, you know? On the other hand, fellas, can we all agree that 76ers and Nets series pretty much is over as well? 3-0,
I mean,
game 4 today.
I mean, Brooklyn wouldn't even be in it if it wasn't for the first half of the season. Yeah. So, yeah, that's over.
Right. If it wasn't for the KD them being there, they probably wouldn't be in play. Well, I mean, yeah, Brooklyn, they fight. They're a pretty decent team. They just not better than Philly. Philly just on another level, look like. Philly just like they're on another level. On the other hand, fellas, we got Boston and Atlanta. Atlanta came back and fought last night. So it's 2-1. Just curious, fellas, you all got Boston in how many games, or do you guys feel like anybody feel like Atlanta could give them some real trouble?
Boston in
5.
Yep.
Okay. Johnathan, you got Boston in how many games in this one?
I got Boston in 6. And real quick, Joel Embiid is out for game 4. So that series might go 5.
Okay. So he's out for game 4. All right.
Sprained right knee.
All right. That makes us transition to another series that's now sad. And Jamar's sad now because of this. And he knows where I'm going. The Clippers and Suns series. Okay. There's a guy by the name of Kawhi Leonard who has a hell of an effect on the team when he's on the court. He's one of the most feared defenders when he's on the court. And the Clippers are a different team when he's on the court. Meanwhile, he hasn't been on the court. He was out game 3. Prior to that, the Clippers were pretty much in control of the series until the second half of the game 2. But we knew game 3, if Kawhi played, they were going to come back really hard game 3. Clippers fought game 3. Very close game. I feel like if Kawhi plays that game, the Clippers win that game. They only lost by 5 in last second shot. So with this, with Kawhi being out, fellas, is the Clippers in trouble? And do they win this series? And we could just get to the other question after. It's just like, this is how I feel because it's like so many failed opportunities with the Clippers because of their health. It's like, I feel like they should have a championship already or like at least been in the finals by now. But it's just like every time something happens good with them, it's like, oh no, they cursed. Like, I don't know. But it's very, very sad to see. It really is as a basketball fan. So Jamar, are the Clippers I know you was really on that Clipper bandwagon because of Kawhi. Are they done, man?
Yeah, if Kawhi's not playing, they're done. That's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
They can play with all the heart that Russell Westbrook can display on the court, and if they would have played anybody else, maybe. But I mean, the Suns are top heavy. They're too top heavy to not have your star playing.
Right.
I mean, Clippers are a deeper team, but Russell Westbrook can't guard Devin Booker and Kevin Durant at the same time. He just can't. Dude, I feel so terrible for the Clippers. It's like, is this organization really snake bitten? Like, I don't understand. It's been 4 years, nothing to really show for it. The year that the bubble happened, that was probably their best year outside. I mean, before the momentum killed them, they was looking like that team. And then a couple years ago, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. Yes, They went to the Western Conference Finals. There was no Kawhi. It was Paul George coming out partying in the playoffs, actually playing like playoff P. And it's like, and I really felt like Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Russell Westbrook trio would have really done some work this postseason. But we ain't gonna see it. So yeah, without Kawhi Leonard, this series it's over. It's over. And that was, I picked Clippers in 7, but it's like Suns in 5 at this point. Unless I don't know, it's a wrap. Without Kawhi Leonard, it's a wrap.
Yeah, and he's out for Game 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And your thoughts, bro?
Clippers are just going to be the Clippers. There's just always something with the Clippers. Somebody's injured, or they lose a lead in the series, or they don't make the playoffs, or they just, I almost feel like they're the Detroit Lions of the NBA. But honestly, I'll be honest, in this series, I wouldn't count them out just yet because it's only really been 2 people scoring for Phoenix. Chris Paul really, I don't know. I think Chris Paul is really on his last leg.
He's a cone.
Huh?
He's a cone.
Shout out to Patrick Beverly. But yeah, I really feel like I wouldn't count the Clippers out just yet. They got 40, they got 40, 42, 45 from Norman Powell the other day, and you got 30 from Russ.
Right.
I wouldn't count them out just yet. I feel like they are a more deeper team than the Suns. I feel like the Suns are just top heavy. Now, if you're gonna continue to let Devin Booker score 45 and Kevin Durant have 28, then I mean, chances are pretty low. But if they're the only 2 people technically really scoring on that team, they possibly still have a chance if nobody off the bench contributes. I mean, the Clippers that have a chance if, they got people contributing off the bench.
They got one of the best benches of the league.
Yeah, so I wouldn't count them out just yet, but as of right now, with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard out, it ain't looking too good. I mean, Russell Westbrook, he will have to just be phenomenal like these next 3 games. And I'm not saying it ain't possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but he would have to be phenomenal. Like, he had to be like OKC Russ. Yeah. And let's just say he does pull it off and they just make it a series. That would be something big in the playoffs. Him against KD, and the Phoenix supposed to be this big juggernaut. Now they got KD and Devin Booker and Chris Paul, and Russ find some way to get it done, that would be big. But as of right now, they ain't looking too good.
Yeah, definitely not looking too good. Because I even questioned y'all in the way, was Kawhi hurt in the second half, fellas? Because prior to that, and I'm talking about second half of game 2, fellas, because like prior to that, they were clearly in control of the series. They were in control. They were out muscling Phoenix in every aspect. And shout out to Russ, man. That dude is he looked like he back with the Clippers. He looked like he back, and that's not even a mention like Norman Powell dropping 40. Like, hello, like, I mean, you put that with Paul George and Kawhi, that is a problem. But these guys can't be healthy. They can't be healthy. Johnathan, your thoughts, man?
Man, I chose the Clippers to win this series. And I'm sticking with that statement.
Okay.
Like, I think they still do have a possibility to beat them. As they both stated that the Suns are very top heavy, but they don't really have a bench. But the Clippers bench is known for tiring people out. Like, they're known for running them. So with that being said, I mean, you run that starting 5, who you got after that supporting you?
Nobody.
And then Russ, all we need is 20 from Russ with 10 assists. And I mean, we got an opportunity at that point. They got an opportunity to win the games. And I think the Clippers take it in 7. And also, if they do lose this series, and let's just, for instance, say Joel comes back in the same series for the 76er series with the same exact injury that Kawhi has right now.
Yeah.
I mean, do they move on from Kawhi?
Yeah. They do have the same injury. Yeah.
So,
Right.
but I do have, and if they win the series without Kawhi, is that even more of a motive to move on from him?
All right, but if they win a series without Kawhi and Paul George come back the next series, I got the Clippers winning the damn championship. I think we all like if they beat Phoenix without Kawhi and Paul, and then you get them 2 back. I mean, that's trouble for the league. That's serious trouble. I mean, they are very deep though. They are very talented, man. I mean, like I say, Norman Powell, this dude, like
he's been cooking.
And Russ dropped what 30-point double. So
yeah, triple though.
That ain't bad. And so Deshaun Reed Sr. stated, I just don't believe that Phoenix. KD is great. D-Book is very, very good, but after that, it's kind of shaky. No depth as well. On paper, Phoenix has the best 5, but Clips are deep and locked in on the defensive side of the ball. Kawhi is clearly the X factor. Yeah, indeed. And so, Deshaun, who you got in this series? You got Phoenix still winning it. Keep in mind that Phoenix is up 2-1, and that Kawhi is out game 4. And so it sounds as if from Ian and Johnathan, though, that the Clippers are going to put up a hell of a fight game 4. I agree they're going to put up a fight, but I'm with Jamar on this one, man. Without your superstar, and hooping superstars matter. They do. Hooping superstars matter, man. So, yeah. All right. And so lastly, y'all, let's talk about this last series. Giannis, y'all, he has been out. Milwaukee, we're going through injuries, y'all. There's been a lot of injuries in the playoffs. So Giannis is out, and Miami, they were happy as hell. I know Jamar was kind of happy too, because he's like, yes, I picked Miami to be a dangerous team. And out of nowhere, Giannis drops. And so now I can look really good because Miami can make a deep run now. And so on the other hand, though, we do want to see this happen with Giannis on the court. But Giannis hasn't been on the court. Milwaukee, y'all, they put up a fight game 1, but Miami, got him. Giannis got hurt in the first quarter, so it was hard to make that adjustment. But y'all see, it was a clear adjustment in game 2 because Milwaukee beat the brakes off of it. So now it goes back to Miami. And so I'm curious, fellas, if Giannis don't return this series, what is the status on Giannis, by the way? That is important here. If anybody know the status on Giannis, let's just say, for instance, he doesn't return. Who wins this series, fellas? So Jamar, if Giannis does not return this series, who wins this series? Because you mentioned Miami could be a dangerous team. I mean, damn it, they got a chance now with Giannis being out.
Funny how things work in the world, right?
I'm telling you, right? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Can't write a book on this stuff.
No, and everybody got a plan until they got punched in the mouth too, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Just for FYI, he's questionable for today, so we'll see what's what.
Yeah, it's stated uncertain. Yeah.
But so unlike the Clipper situation, unlike that, I mean, Milwaukee is a good team. Even without their superstar, they are good. What they did to Miami in Game 2, that's not a fluke.
Right.
It is not. They have guys that fit the system. They play with intense defense. They move the ball. They have snipers everywhere. That's the one thing that Miami doesn't do consistently is shoot the ball. That's the thing. And I still feel like Milwaukee would win this series, even if Giannis doesn't play at all. I still feel like they can win this series because it goes back to what I'm saying. Miami is good enough to be a first-round exit and a championship contender in the same game, and a lot of that is predicated on their ability to score the ball and shoot the ball. That's a lot of it what it's based on. Last year, we saw Miami take Boston to 7, but it was them scoring the ball was equivalent to how Cleveland scored 79 points last night. That's how it felt last year for the Heat. And the Heat, yeah, they have him and Jimmy Butler, but where are you consistently getting those points from? Because Kyle Lowry, he's starting to look like a Cone Jr. out there too, to a certain degree.
Tyler Hero's out.
Yep, he broke his hand in Game 1. So I mean,
Max
that's
Strus has been stepping up for him. Max has. The dude from Chicago.
I don't want to talk about that guy.
No, he scores. He's been scoring for them.
I understand that, but we lost to Massachusetts in the play-in tournament. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I got you.
He's the reason. He's the main reason why we lost that game, but there's other reasons.
Anyway. He was hot that game against the Bulls. That's true.
But
trust and trust.
Bruh. But yeah, I just think Milwaukee is more consistent on both ends of the court to let this series go. And I feel like Miami missed the golden opportunity to do something in Game 2. They really missed the golden opportunity, just like Sacramento missed the golden opportunity in Game 3. So
just like the Lakers did.
Yep, so missed opportunities with injured players, or suspended players, you gonna feel the wrath. You should have took care of business when you had the chance. As we know that this league and playoffs could be very unforgiving when you don't. So therefore, I still like Milwaukee.
Yeah. And your thoughts, bro? Still like Milwaukee? Or...
Yeah, I'm not a believer in Miami. I've never been a believer in Miami. That's why I'm so mad the Bulls lost. I'm taking Milwaukee. Milwaukee gonna get it done. They too deep. They still got Drew Holiday, one of the best two-way players in the league. They're just better. They're just a better team.
Yeah, nobody seemed to have an ask for Chris Middleton either. And yeah, Milwaukee's very deep. They got snipers, man. Johnathan.
This is actually going to be the first one I change up on, and I mean, I think the smart decision would be to have Giannis sit out this game, regardless of if he's good to go. It is what it is. The series is 1-1. Without Tyler Hero, though, I don't think Miami stands a chance. And just the spark he provides for them. And I mean, like I said, Giannis sits out this game. He comes back even healthier next game. The Heat banned the team from wearing Giannis' shoes this series. I mean, that alone is going to give him the motivation. Like, oh yeah, he's going to get that Kobe motivation. Like, oh, you're not going to wear my shoes now. Like that's what that's gonna do. And I think honestly, I think the Bucks take it in 6. And like I said, I had Miami winning it in 6, and I think the Bucks take it in 6.
Mm. And so you have Miami winning in the series in 6 games with Giannis on the court.
Yes.
Whew. Yeah, that's a good
I
one.
had them, and now I'm switching it to with or without Giannis. I think the Bucks win it in 6.
Yeah. And in this case, on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we are grateful that there is an opportunity to change your picks this morning. So yes, Johnathan has changed his pick, but I think we all can attest that without Giannis, this will be a fight. There will be moments where Chris will have to be clutch going forward, especially in South Beach. These next 2 games will be very important for Milwaukee. We'll see how they respond. Definitely one of these games probably will come down to the last shot because it's in South Beach. And so we'll see. Miami has always been a tough team. They've always been a Pat Riley, like, they got his identity. His identity's all over that franchise. So, Milwaukee's great, but Miami gonna fight. They're gonna fight. And so we'll see how that series turn out. And so yeah, basically, world, let's see from our comments. All right. So Deshaun Reed Sr. stated, CP3 is a legend, but he's old. Yep, we agree, bro. He had a really nice game in closing out game 2, if y'all remember those fellas. He closed them out game 2. I watched that game, and he was clutch in the 4th quarter. DeAndre Ayton is MEH at best. He was clutch game 2 too, because remember in game 2, Deshaun, Kawhi and them was in control of that game, and it was DeAndre Ayton who stayed consistent, hitting them little small jumpers, them free throw line shots, them 2-point mid-range buckets that kept them in the game, and that will eventually lead to them overtaking the Clippers in the second half. Clips, if Kawhi doesn't miss another game without the clout, even Coach Lue stated it's deflating to lose him. Yep. And so, yeah, I agree. We all agree. And listen, Miami had that shot to win, and they blew it. Giannis was out, and they got smoked like a pack of cools. Love Jimmy Buckets and Tyler Hero, done due to hand injury. So they are toast, cinnamon toast crunch. And so, yeah, Deshaun Reed Sr. stated he's in agreement that the Miami Heat are pretty much cinnamon toast crunch without Tyler Hero. So we'll see. And so, fellas, that pretty much covers the NBA playoffs. We talked about the NFL draft world. So we expect the Chicago Bears to make moves, primarily offensive, defensive line. And so we'll see what they do in regards to seeing if, possibly Jalen Carter's on the board, etc. Wide receiver needs, we got cornerback needs. And so we'll see what the Bears do with this pick come Thursday night in KC, y'all. Kansas City is a really nice city, by the way. Yeah, it's a low-key, nice little city. On the other hand, Johnathan stated for his Indianapolis Colts, which is another nice little city too. I like that. They got needs, and their needs is at quarterback. Y'all got the number 4 pick. And so Will Levis is highly being talked about. On the other hand, Anthony Richardson. Jamar, thank you for that question, man, in regards to who we believe is the top quarterback out of the 4. And so we'll see what happens Thursday night in KC. Big NFL draft coming up, especially for us as Bears fans. Shout out to that 07 team. I firmly believe that we would have won the Super Bowl if it wasn't rainy. And then additionally, I firmly believe that we would have won the Super Bowl if Rex Grossman didn't turn over the damn ball 7 times. And so, and with that, the Colts still won the game 29-17, but I think he turned it over 6 times, not 7-6. And so, yeah, you only won by 12, 29-17, and it came down to the 4th quarter. So don't get too happy.
We outscored you guys 29-10. So
what you talking about? Minus the Devin Hester kickoff?
Yep.
I remember that play, man. Do y'all remember where y'all was when he ran that back? Because I remember where I was when he ran that back. I remember.
I will say this also is that Had you guys started Kyle Orton instead of Rex Grossman, you guys probably would have won that game.
Believe it.
Yeah. It was just
I
a
believe
turnover
it.
fest. It was a turnover fest, man. And no great team can always recover if you got 6 turnovers on the board, no matter how great you are. And so yeah. So with that being said, world, we thank y'all for y'all participation. We expect the likes to continue to come through as we close this morning's segment. And so as we do head into the weekend, fellas, Jamar and Johnathan, any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend?
Yeah. So I know we don't have a donkey of the week segment like the Breakfast Club or anything, but you know, shout out to those 4 Detroit Lions players for getting suspended. Shout out to them. Like,
So much for grit.
so I guess, you know, they betting on games. More, I think 2 of them betted on like other sports, but they betted at the complex or something. The other ones actually, I think, betted on football or something like that. Anyway, 4 of them. 4 Lions, one Commanders player, which is irrelevant, but four Lions. Just when you thought Detroit was getting ready to turn the corner, what's Papa saying is the Lions going to Lions. That's
Right.
what's happening here. So yeah, you know, donkey of the week. There you go.
So much for the grit, man.
Yeah. I mean, as a Bears fan, I'm kind of happy. I mean, damn it, with them being out of Dan Aaron Rodgers possibly on the move this week, this is great news for the Bears. And your thoughts,
No,
bro?
miss the top receiver.
Exactly. Yeah. Any final thoughts and shout outs as we head into the weekend, bro?
I'll just be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Oh yeah, I do have one. He coming. It's the Colorado Spring game today on ESPN. Check that out. Okay. Excited to check that out. Deion said he coming, so I want to see, you know, what's been going on down there. I've been, you know, keeping tabs on that. So yeah, they spring game. It should come on maybe like around 12. I have to check, but yeah, it'll be on today.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Thanks for that 411, bro. Yeah. Johnathan, any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend?
You know, I just wanted to mention about what Jamar was saying about the Lions. It kind of makes you think of like how all of us will get the terms and conditions of things and we just scroll to the bottom and just hit accept because we're not trying to read all that. I mean, it's got to be in the contract somewhere that like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing this.
Exactly.
So
Just go straight to the bottom and sign.
Yeah. And
agree and continue.
So the other thing I want to say is if you got loved ones or family or friends in the OKC or the Kansas City area, you might want to check on. There was a lot of tornadoes this week, and just make sure you're checking up on your loved ones and just be safe out there.
Yeah, appreciate that, bro, for sure. I just want to, you know, from a sports perspective, looking forward, y'all, to LeBron's response today against Dylan Brooks. I'm looking very forward to see how he responds. I'm looking very forward to see how the Lakers respond as a team, still without Ja Morant on the court. I'm looking very forward to this Heat and Bucks series. I want to see how the Heat respond. Lastly, I want to see additionally how so we talked about the Lakers. We talked Madison Square Garden. I'm very interested, y'all, in seeing how Donovan Mitchell responds in game 4. Very big game. You guys highlighted if he's him, he got to show up in game 4. And so I'm very interested in seeing how he show up in game 4 in this game. And so with that being said, world, we thank you all for tuning in with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. We appreciate your time, appreciate your love, appreciate your support. May each of you have a great weekend. Peace.
Peace.